a huge transmission firm that does, moves electricity around, if you will, throughout the Midwest. There's also a major energy firm in Wixom. And then in the health area, I've got, the New Providence Park in Novi. You're very well aware of that, and you did tremendous things to get that established in Novi. That's another story in itself. And also Trinity Health is headquartered in Novi. So I've part of my campaign rhetoric was I was going to be very business friendly, and I know that may have a negative connotation being business friendly, but by being business friendly, you're job friendly. And we have got to lessen regulations on businesses. We have to promote business, and that's where the jobs are. And jobs provide paychecks, and paychecks provide taxes, and they provide the upturn of our economy. So that's why I asked for those committees, and I got them, and I'm anxious to get going with them.
Well, that's excellent, because certainly we're going to work together closely. Yep. I had the wonderful opportunity to serve on Energy and Tech too when I was in the House, and I can tell you from what you just said, being business friendly simply really boils down to, as you said, being job friendly. And the small businesses that comprise about 70% of all the jobs in our state and throughout the United States, they've been pretty hard hit here in Michigan. And you mentioned regulatory reform. Well, we're going to do this week, actually, in the Senate, take up a bill looking at the ergonomics reforms, which really put unnecessary burdens on businesses to conform to all kinds of workplace standards and so on. But we don't have, if you will, a lot of accidents and injuries here in Michigan that would require that. And the only other state that has put on these kind of onerous regulations is California. And California, they're deep in debt. What is their, I don't know, their deficit is $41 billion, and looking for the federal government to bail them out. But these ergonomic rules, actually, we need to nip that in the bud. It becomes another form of a tax on businesses. They can ill afford it. Or what they'll do is just let more workers go. That's the worst thing that can happen. We've got over 10.5% unemployment in the state.
Sure. We certainly want workers to be safe and healthy in their work environment. Right. But there's a middle road there where you don't impose regulations on businesses, as you said, that drives ones we have here out of the state and prevents other ones from coming in. So I think can be a good compromise.
Certainly can be, and along the same lines, I am sure there are going to be bills coming out of the House regarding the Michigan business tax and reforms there. We've done some in the Senate that now are in law, getting rid of the really onerous tax on a tax, sales tax, and so on. That's gone. I'm glad we've done that. That was major. But there's more to do, and I want to share with you today in Senate Finance, we're taking up a bill to phase out over 2 years the 22% surcharge that was put on the Michigan business tax, just in order to bring in more money. Well, it's not working. We know that businesses, Hugh, are closing in Michigan, and with that, workers losing their jobs, or we've had tremendous loss of population even.
Oh, sure.
So,
to the extent that we're going to lose a congressional seat, probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get right on top of this right now, not wait for a change to the Constitution some way in tax policy. That may come at a later date, but there's much we can do right now to get people back to work and to retain those jobs that are here right now. So that's a mission that you're going to hear a lot about.
I've signed on, mentioning the 22% surcharge, I've signed on as a co-sponsor in a House bill to eliminate that, and I'm willing to eliminate that right now, and and then make cuts to make up for it. We've been told by a lot of folks that, well, if we remove the 22% surcharge, then we need to replace that with something else. I'm not looking to replace it with another tax or a shift in taxes. I'm looking to replace it by cutting whatever needs to be cut. When I ran, I said everything is on the table as far as I'm concerned, except education and except Medicaid, and that's the way I'm going to vote. I may end up being in the minority on that vote, but that's what I'm going to advocate. That we've got to restructure, we've got to perhaps eliminate departments, eliminate people, eliminate programs, things that you probably wouldn't think of under normal economic times. We're not under normal economic times, and we've got to get this state back on track, and we've got to restructure. The only way to restructure is to change departments, eliminate departments, consolidate, do whatever's necessary. There's going to be some tough decisions. I'm prepared to make them. I know you are. I hope that's going to be the way the whole legislature, both Senate and House, looks at it.
Well, I certainly hope so too. We've tried that before with not as much success as we'd like to achieve. And it's complicated a little bit by the prospect of billions of dollars coming into the state from the federal stimulus package. I see that money as one-time money.
Absolutely.
And so you can't put it into long-range projects or to reduce your budget costs, because it will evaporate. So it is not a panacea. We must do the hard work now of structural reforms. You've named some of them: consolidations, where we can privatize appropriately, where we can look at reforms within corrections. We've got to do it. They're hard decisions, but you either make them now or Michigan will have trouble continuing in the future. And that's not the Michigan we want to leave. We want Michigan to become very healthy once again. The Senate also works dynamically with the House. And I meet, for example, or will be meeting, inviting the tax policy chair, Kate Elby. I think she's from Monroe, to meet with me, and we share some thoughts and ideas. That always helps too, so we can kind of be on the same page. I think those opportunities build good rapport. And you said it all. You said it all when you said people want us not only to get along, but to get something done. So do you have any specific bills that you are thinking of sponsoring now or in the near future?
I don't have anything particular in mind, and maybe that's not a good thing for a politician to say. I know we're lawmakers, but we're also constituent people, and I look at that as really the fun part of the job, if you will, and as important as anything else. I mean, I have my philosophies, being very fiscally conservative, and what I just said before about restructuring. So I don't have any major, I'm not here on a crusade or a mission, but I have my philosophies, and it's restructuring, it's making some tough cuts. So that's the way I'm going to approach it. That'll all evolve here. I've only been on the job, if you will, for about 27 days maybe or so. So it'll evolve.
It will, and I can already hear from your comments the experience that you bring to this task. And that's been something I know that people have worried about with term limits. That experience will be lost, and well, in some cases that's true. But I'm glad people like yourself and others who have served as a county commissioner, on a council, board of trustees, what you bring to the task and the seriousness of it, I'm really delighted. It sounds extremely good.
I think it's important to have that experience. Not to say that people can't jump right into this from not having it. There are a few reps that have not had any prior elected experience. But I personally would not want to be doing this job if I hadn't had 15 years on city council and 8 as a county commissioner, and you had similar experience before you came here to Lansing. And that's very important. I bill myself as kind of a fresh face and new ideas with experience, and so I think that's a good combination.